you won't look after my wounds. I suppose you will never regret it. I should throw myself off from the roof, 'cause you fucking love it when I feel. 'Cause you won't look after my wounds. I suppose you will never regret it. I should throw myself off from the roof, 'cause you fucking love it when I feel. Cause you won't look after my wounds. I suppose you will never regret it. I should throw myself off from the roof, 'cause you fucking love it when I feel. 'Cause you won't look after my wounds. I suppose you will never regret it. I should throw myself off from the roof, 'cause you fucking love it when I feel. don't like the lights, but it's camera time. Said take the picture, but you rolled your eyes. Now I'm mortified and still terrorized. Push me behind to get me from my better side. I wanna push you back, but that's all you want. Wanna wrap me up, I'm holding back. Tryna get me framed, throw me in cuffs. Said I attacked you, that's just a false truth. No need to argue, and yeah, I've had enough. You follow me anywhere I try to be alone. I find you there. There's more to me. Everywhere I try to go alone, I find you there. You follow me anywhere I try to be alone, I find you there. Oh, there's more to me. Anywhere I try to be alone, I find you there. I find you there. I'm so scared to leave my house, so I cannot run free from this. Always being watched by you, and that's so inconsiderate. My privacy, does that exist? Probably haven't heard of it. Need to live a different life, cause lights and cameras are in it. Trying to find a silver lining. All I wanna do is avoid the violence. But you're here again, I'm losing it. There's no more screaming in silence. Get out my face, turn off the flash. I hate the fame, no more of that. Leave me alone, or I'll collapse. I need a break, don't feel the crack. You follow me anywhere I try to be alone, I find you there. There's more to me. Everywhere I try to go alone, I find you there. Yeah, yeah. You follow me anywhere I try to be alone, I find you there. Oh, there's more to me. Anywhere I try to be alone, I find you there. I find you there.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round number 7 here at Assetto Corsa F1 here at Apollo Racing Club. I'm Adam EV500. Joining me tonight in the safety car and the color commentator is Sim Black Fox. Fox, we're here at Imola.
Indeed, grand old Imola. This track has a lot of history, both good and bad. It's fun to drive, and we should expect a lot of action tonight.
For sure, for sure. Imola is a 4.9 kilometer or 3.05 mile motor racing circuit in the town of Imola, Italy. And of course, this is where actual F1 heads to this week. This, what would you call this? They call it a 19-corner track is what the layout we're using here tonight. And of course, it's going to be some very beautiful racing. I'm very excited. Last week, we saw Joker take home another win and just continue to lead dominance. Oh, and excuse me, it wasn't Joker who won last week. It was William Neron taking his first win here at Apollo Racing Club. But, of course, Joker holding on to that first place in the standings. Let's take a look at those standings real quick here. Of course, Joker sitting on top of the 107 points. You, Fox, you're in second place. The last time you did not podium was the first race of the season, so you've been able to podium 6 weeks in a row. Slem, who is no longer with us, is sitting in that third spot. William Neron, with that win last week, puts him up into fourth place with 62 points. Eric DeRace did not start last week. He is still at that number 5 position. Decora has had a really rough couple of weeks, not finishing in Albert Park, and then not finishing last week in Hockenheim. So the top 6 starting to spread out a little bit, but you Fox, you're within touching distance of Joker.
Right now I am, but I think that's going to change after this race, but that's all right.
The perks of being the safety car, right? Got to balance it somewhere. Ginger in 7th place has only competed in 3 races but has accumulated 38 points. Elegance in 8th place has been here every single week, but it's sitting with 35. Legs is sitting in the 9th position with 33 points, and Brandon Gobes in that 10th spot in the standings with 28. Xavier with 14. Falling outside the top 10, Charles Bertram, who has not shown up the last couple of weeks, sitting with 12 points. Nick Cameron with 12 points in the 13th position. Walls, that's a new guy that has shown up here. I can't remember what hit. Is that Robert Walker? Yes,
I believe that's Rob Walker, yes.
Yep, that is 10 points for him. Haagen-Dazs with 5 points. Marchcroft with 3. John with 2. Ferguson, excuse me, sitting there with 1 point. Estrada with 1 point. He hasn't shown up for the last couple of weeks. Shorty and Curbs currently without a point so far. And as we are wrapping up the standings, it's time to go into qualifying. 18 minutes on the clock here for these drivers. And of course, it looks like we're working again. Awesome. Thought I was disconnected there for a moment, like we are having the problems like last week, but no, we are not. We are good to go. Eric DeRace is going to be the first man out there on track. Excuse me, not DeRace, my relative, finally just now getting going. We have a new member here tonight, Hamza Gulzer, a new member here at Apollo Racing Club. Of course, we do have a couple new guys tonight. Fox, you've gotten to, you handle some of this of the recruitment, and of course, we have a pretty decent sized grid tonight.
It is, yeah. This is a really good group of people tonight. It's not the most we've had this season, but still a very, very good representation. A lot of a few new faces, but all mostly returning faces, and that's what we like to see. We like to see those people that come consistently to these league races. They're the backbone of this league, are those that return frequently.
For sure. And of course, during practice, we were seeing some very quick lap times. Froley was up in the top 5 for a while, and of course, Decora and Joker putting in, Decora and William Neron putting in sub 1 minute 20 laps. So, and we're actually getting ready here as Gulzer now is going to be the first man down the front straight to start his hot lap. As he comes into the Tamburillo chicane. Of course, the famous location of Ayrton Senna, the last time he raced in an F1 car was at this track. And there goes Gulzer into the wall, coming out of the second chicane down the road.
Oof, that's a shame. This track requires a lot of commitment, a lot of bravery, and unfortunately, if you don't get it right, well, you get stuff like that happening.
Indeed you do, and of course, a mistake can lead to disaster here. Definitely don't want to make a mistake. It's grass all over the place. It's not like the last, 2 weeks ago when we were at Australia, and then of course Jeddah, where there's just very close, where the walls are just very close to the track. You have a lot of runoff, but even getting to the grass is so slick. As we see Eric DeRace, we're going to call that the death curb, or the death chicane, because you basically have to send it through there if you want to get a decent lap time. You cannot just mess around in that chicane if you want to get a decent lap time. Eric DeRace now coming through the penultimate turn and heading down the final straight, now into the final turn. Comes across the line. What time is he going to be putting up here? A 1:21.4 to start off qualifying. Joker's going to be coming across the line next, and he puts up a 1:20.3. He is going to be provisional pole. Now
It's
we're
a good
seeing,
start.
let's see here, Elegance, or is this, yeah, Elegance comes across the line, goes third fastest with a 1:21.1, and Froley coming William Neron, going with a 1:20.7 to start off qualifying. He remains P2, and Froley P3 with a 1:21.0.
Evie, I'm being informed that you need to turn yourself up on the stream.
How is this?
Hopefully better.
Hopefully better. I have it pretty much cranked almost to where it's peaking almost on the stream. Let's see here. Let's take a look at Marshcroft. Marshcroft has been somebody who has some very good potential of getting some really good top 10 finishes, and he's actually done that. He did it. He got a top 10. Not Marshcroft. That was Xavier. Marshcroft finished 9th in Sepang and then finished in 10th place in Jeddah, but has not been able to crack into the top 10 since. So he is definitely looking to improve on his performance here and get up the grid. He is currently behind in the standings, only by a point, 2 points behind Haagen-Dazs and 7 points behind Rob Walker.
I think we might see a few wild cards happen in this race. This is a very unique track, and it tends to suit a certain driving style more than others. I think... For example, a driver like Froley, who's currently qualified P4 for now, we might see a few people perform a bit better this week than in previous weeks.
One of the hardest things about probably in this car is just how loose that back end is with the DRS. And this is a very long DRS zone. Oh, Marshcroft goes back into the pits. He actually goes P10. In qualifying. What time did he put up? A 1:22.0, so he'll be looking to improve. And let's take a look over at Froley. Froley's out there currently. He just finished up his lap. I don't know if he's on another lap or not. I would say probably not. But with that, go ahead.
I believe he is. I believe he is on a lap right now. Unless he's backed out of it.
Nope, he is on a lap. He did improve in Sector 1 at 22.4. In Sector 1. Now he's coming through Sector 2. And this is where it gets very interesting. You don't want to make a mistake through here. It's tight and windy. Of course, the death chicane coming up. There he goes right through it. Does a nice job navigating through the chicane. Gets a pretty good exit. Goes with a 30.7 in Sector 2.
Personal best.
That's 2 green sectors for him. As he comes into the final turns here. And again, you have to brake so hard for those turns. It's kind of a weird. It's actually probably one of the weirder of the turns of this on this track. You feel like you can take it fast, but the way it is, it's almost like they're 90-degree angle turns. So, and Froley actually goes into the pit, so he's coming out. Decora now coming across the line, and where did he end up? He has not put up a time yet.
Not yet. He has just started a lap.
Let's go ahead and ride on board with him on beautiful Imola. This is one of my absolute favorite tracks. I would say this and Hockenheim are absolutely fantastic tracks to race on and just very fun to drive on as well. As now Decora comes out. Some of these track turn names we're not going to be able to pronounce just because of this is probably one of the tracks that has the most difficult names. But he just came out of Tosa, coming down the hill and going to make his way up to Acqua Minerale. Still continuing on here. He's going to brake right at the 50 board as he comes into Veronante Alta. That is the death chicane. That is a very dangerous chicane, and absolutely on a flyer here. Again, these sets of turns are very weird. It's a very low grip. You can definitely spin the car very easily, but Decora keeps it on the ground nicely, keeps the car planted. Now he's going to get that DRS wide open, comes across the line, and a 119.7 puts Decora in P2.
By 0.004 of a second. Very, very close margins. He's the second person to set a time in the 119s. Rob Walker currently on provisional pole with the best Sector 3 of all. However, I think that might change here a bit. I've been looking at the times, and Hamza Golzar, before he had to abort his lap, set the purple Sector 1 and Sector 2 times, and he's about to start his next flying lap right now, so he might be one to follow right now.
Heading on to Golzer then. He comes across the line, starts that hot lap, so now he's just going to have to put in the work here and try and potentially jump a couple of guys here. He's currently has not set a time. But Rob Walker, that you were talking about wild cards. That's a wild card for me tonight is Rob Walker.
Yeah, Rob Walker. He's been in the league for a long time. He's a really strong driver.
Golzer is going to have some traffic in front of him. That's going to be Brandon Goves, who pulls off to the side to allow him through. I will say that's probably been one of the better things about this season is the especially in qualifying, is guys getting out of the way. We've seen it in previous seasons. Hasn't quite happened as well as this season. So definitely some guys learning. I mean, it's already difficult to qualify with 20 other drivers on the grid and not getting in each other's way. But tonight seems like it doesn't seem to be too much of a problem so far.
Mm-hmm. Golzar through the first two sectors. They're not purple, but they are better than what Rob Walker posted earlier.
Gets that DRS wide open, has to keep the car planted. You can't make any very quick movements. He comes across the line, provisional pull, a 119.5.
Very, very good lap from him, but there's definitely room for more. Like I said, he did not improve on his Sector 1, Sector 2, his personal best Sector 1, Sector 2, which also happened to be the purple sectors. Or the purple times for those sectors, excuse me. Rob Walker is faster in Sector 3. He still holds the purple time for that third sector.
Well, we got to keep our eyes on Decora here as well. He's currently P3, and he wasn't too far off of the pace as well. He was up there with those guys. He's only 4 thousandths of a second off of Rob Walker's time. So if he can just find that time and then be able to find another almost 2/10, he's on provisional pole. As Decora now comes through the penultimate turn into the final turn. Get the DRS wide
personal best sectors.
Where does he come out at? Can he get P2? At least he does. A 119.6 is 600ths faster. Is now 600ths away from Golzar, and is a 10th up on Robert Walker.
These margins are getting very, very close.
Man, we haven't really talked about much tonight is Joker. Joker in the Red Bull, his last lap time was a 119.9, currently 300ths off of William Neron's pace, who's currently in P4. Joker is somebody, again, we can't really sleep on this guy. We can't just discount him out based on qualifying because the man can race. He has won races from way back in the field and is just a very, very quick driver and very good. Last week really wasn't his week. He just had a rough time getting up to the front, and William Neron stealing the victory last week. 6 minutes to go here in qualifying. Joker coming through the penultimate turns. Got to get that foot down on the gas, and of course, if you look down on the bottom of your screen, you can see the Sidekick app, and you can see that basically what throttle trace it would be here, and does a nice job getting through there. And he does not improve unless
he has started. He has started his flying lap.
Awesome, thank you very much, Fox. So let's actually right on board with the man. This is, in this part of the circuit, this is where a lot of people are going to potentially see some crashes through there, through Tamburillo and the chicane after that. But Joker now going to get his foot back on the gas, and he has basically clean air at this point, which in qualifying you've got to be very happy about.
That first sector by Joker was the best out of everybody, a purple first sector. Elegance ahead of him crashes though, hopefully Elegance can stay out of the way. Elegance returns back to pits. He's got that clean air again. Sector 2 wasn't as good. It wasn't a personal best for himself. Let's see if he can make up the time in Sector 3.
And he really ate the curbs there going through the death chicane and did not get the exit that he was probably wanting. The car was not planted whatsoever, but can he find a way to get across the line here and take provisional pole? He comes across and he moves up into P2 with a 119.5. So he is up there in the mix. We have 5 guys in the 19s, and Froley's just right on the cusp there as well.
For sure, it's awesome seeing these guys and how well they're performing here. That last sector from Joker was a personal best, and so I think if Joker can put together that perfect clean lap, it'll be a good contender for provisional pole.
And that's
Let's see who else can. Sorry, excuse me. Let's see who else can get into the 119s. I think at least one more might be able to do it.
Probably the one person that could do that is going to be Froley. He's on an out lap. We haven't said Brandon Goeb's name. He's on a hot lap right now. He has a personal best in Sector 1 and 2, a 22.2 and a 30.6. Now he's coming through that final turn and gets DRS wide open. And he comes across the line and he puts up a 120.04. Puts himself into P6 and goes above Froley.
So close. So very, very, very close between the two of them.
This is an absolutely insane qualifying session we're seeing here, as you can see on the time. I mean, the entire field at this point is only 4 seconds apart, just right over 4 seconds. You have the top 5 with all within 3/10 of each other from 1st to 5th. You have Goebs, who is only just 6/10 off of Golzer's pace. I mean, we're going to be in for some good action tonight if this keeps up.
Absolutely, for sure. Daikora currently on a flyer. He just set the best Sector 2 time out of everybody. He's heading into the final 2 corners.
Can he get the job done? That is the main question. Sector 2 is purple. He comes across line. He's really close to that inside wall. He goes provisional pole. A 119.5 goes 17 milliseconds ahead of Golzer. And he's back out there again. He has enough time to do an out lap and one more hot lap. Golzer does as well. So we have a shootout for pole position here between Daikora and Golzer. Joker's also in the mix. Yeah, Joker's in that mix as well.
Joker immediately responding, sets the best Sector 1 time.
Golzer currently down on his pace, on his personal lap time. He puts up the Joker, though, puts up a 30.5 through Sector 2 and is down on his pace as well.
That's 5/10 off of the best Sector 2 time. He's backed out of it. I think that's the end of Joker's qualifying.
That is going to be the end of Joker's qualifying. Gulzer's going to come across the line. He's going to try and go one more lap here with a minute to go here in qualifying. So this is when it's going to get real spicy for these guys. The qualifying shootout for pole position. Gulzer versus Decora.
See, the end of the Sector 1 split is at the exit of this chicane, or however sequence of turns, however you want to call it. Let's see. A 22.225, about 2/10 off. Or excuse me, I guess it would be a 10th and change.
He's got to find the time through Sector 2 if he wants to have a chance. He has to find 17 milliseconds just to be tied with Decora. So he has to really find 18 milliseconds to steal pole position here. And that's when these fine margins coming out of here. It's amazing to see that now as he comes through the chicane, and he spins it. And that's going to end Gulzer's qualifying, and Joker takes home, Decora takes home pole position here at Imola.
His Sector 2 was a personal best as well. Excellent effort by him, though. Definitely doing his absolute best.
And that's what you like to see here. Now we're seeing 6 guys get into the 19s. Brandon Gobes breaks into the 19s with a P6 finish here. William Neron in P5. Rob Walker in P4. A shocker there this week. Joker in P3. Of course, the new member of Hamza Gulzer in P2, and Decora takes pole position. Looking at the rest of the order, Froley finishes in P7 in this qualifying. Legs in P8. Eric DeRace in P9. Elegance in 10th. Nick Cameron in 11th. Xavier in 12th. Marshcroft in 13th. John in 14th. Curbs in 15th. Short in 16th, Workman in 17th, Oliver in 18th, Doherty in Doherty in 19th, and Yardmeet in 20th. So that is your grid for this evening. We have a 20-man field, so we're definitely going to see some crazy action here tonight. But we can't discount this man's effort here this evening. It's going to be Decora who will take the pole position. So we are in it for a race tonight, folks. I am excited for this one now after watching that qualifying session. As now we just wait for the countdown to finish up. And we switch over to our race session. 32 laps on the board. And there's the gaps right there. Those are just such tight gaps. Joker only 31 milliseconds off at Decora's pace. So that just shows you the top 3 tonight are definitely going to be battling this out.
Definitely, but don't discount anyone else that's in really the top 6 or 7. Even though it's 2 or 3 tenths off, a good strategy call and consistent pace should keep them in contention for a win, depending on how the top 3 performs, what they do, what they decide to do.
This is Apollo Racing Club. Anything can happen.
We think we've seen it all, and then something else happens that completely changes our paradigm.
I went, like last week, we saw Decora. He was fighting actually for a race win and got some back markers involved in his race and ended up taking him out of the race. So that will be something to look out for this race, is back markers, because there isn't a whole lot of great overtaking opportunities. So guys are going to get desperate in some situations to get by some of these blue flags. So, but the countdown is on. 5 seconds until the cars go on the grid.
Yeah, patience will definitely be the name of the game there, because there's a good way of letting people by, letting a faster car by, and there's a bad way. You definitely don't want to put yourself or the other car in a compromised position. It's just a bad time for yourself and everybody involved.
Well, here we go, folks. We are on the grid. Decora in that pole position. Gulzer in P2. course, this gets very interesting to see how these race starts go. We have seen carnage, complete carnage at the start of races, and we have seen some very clean turn ones. So 15 seconds until we see the lights come on. Oh, here we go. 6 lights, not 5 lights, will come on here. They're currently blank. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights on. And lights out, and away we go here at Imola. Decora's going to try and get a good start away from Gulzer. He's going to pull away, but now there's going to be some threat of Joker and Robert Walker. They're going to be battling out for P4 as they come into turn number 1. Gulzer almost has the inside line, but he stays there. Robert Walker staking along Joker, but Joker makes a mistake coming out of the exit of the first chicane, and Rob Walker takes P3. William Neron, he's going to be battling with Joker here very shortly as well. Same with Gobes.
A little bit of bumping towards the back. I believe it's Frawley who gets spun as a result. Very, very unfortunate. We will be remaining green, though, for this race so far. Everyone else starting to kind of slot in and get comfortable and get into the groove that they need to get in.
And that's exactly what you like to see very early on in this race. These guys just racing very cleanly through the first lap here. Definitely don't want to bring out that safety car too early, because that can definitely mess up your day if you get a kind of a bad safety car in terms of pit strategy. Some lockups happening coming through the third chicane on this circuit, and everybody's still making it out quite cleanly, and that's what you want to see going through here, especially that chicane. You can make a lot of mistakes and collect some people, but everybody remaining calm through there. And now we're seeing some guys, Nick Cameron falling all the way down to P14, but John benefits the most. He's going to be up into P10, Xavier up into P9, Legs in P8, Elkins in P7, Brandon Gobes remains at P6, but he's under threat by William Neron, who's going to try and get by him.
Oh no, Golzar picks up 3 seconds for illegal DRS. Oh no, that's going to hurt the end results.
Don't want to pick up those time penalties. DRS is not enabled, so it's already an illegal DRS as it is. Plus, the system here at ACF1, we have it set up so it actually recognizes when you're less than a second behind somebody. So if you use it and you're not within that 1 second, you'll get penalized for with 3 seconds. Brandon Gobes moves up into P5 though. As we're now seeing some guys try and get some times down on the board here. We'll take a look here at the intervals. Gulzer currently almost 2 seconds back. Decora got a start.
Definitely the name of the game now for Decora is just consistency and real fast lap times. Start to make Gulzar look a lot smaller in his rearview mirrors.
Joker currently in P4. He's in the mix here with about 5 other cars around him. And now we have an accident happening with Eric DeRace and John. Looks like Eric DeRace was able to take advantage of that, and he actually moves up into P9. But we're seeing an overtake battle. It looks like Oliver is trying to make a move onto Xavier, and he might be looking for a 2-for-1 as well. But Xavier holding on to that P11 position. He's going to try and make his way into the top 10 here.
Good job, boys, giving each other space. You like to see it. You got to be respectful to your fellow drivers. DRS is active as of this lap, so we should be seeing the likes of Brandon Gobes and Will Neron starting to pick up DRS.
DRS can be a very powerful weapon here, especially down that front straight. It's a wide open straight. Marshcroft picking up 3 seconds for an illegal DRS, and that's, again, you don't want to see that. And he's already back at the back of the field in 21st place. Of course, Tommy Guns is here. He started in the back of the pack because he was serving a qualifying ban for accruing too many penalty points, but he's up in the P13 at this point, so he's making his way through the field here.
I've just noticed that your real penalty client's doing the same thing as last time, but that's all right. We're just going to ignore that. Will Neron making a move on Van. Likewise, Joker making a move on Rob Walker and making it stick.
Joker moves up into podium position here. Brandon Gobes, he's right behind Rob Walker here, but so is William Neron. William Neron is not going to go away lightly. He is somebody that I was very happy to see him get a win this season last week, and now he's going to try and attempt to move on to Brandon Gobes. He has the inside line. Can he make the move stick? Yes, he does! And that's what you like to see here at Apollo Racing Club, some clean overtaking like that.
Very bold, but clean. He locks up going through, as I pull up the track, Aqua Minerale there, but manages to keep it together. I think in due time, Will's going to start hunting down Rob Walker. We've got a car in the wall at the exit of Aqua Minerale. That's Xavier. He's working to bring that car back on track. And
Marshcroft is out of here. He has called it a night.
You hate to see it. A lot of things can happen we still have like 27, 26 laps to go. A lot can happen between now and then.
Well, while we're distracted by all the other things happening on track, Gulzer has made it now less than a second up to Decora, and he's now within DRS range, as we saw the DRS wide open coming down the front straight. And so Decora's going to have to pick up the pace just a wee bit if he wants to remain in P1 through the entirety of this race and potentially look at that Triple Crown. Joker is ahead of most of these guys now. He's starting to pull away. William Neron got past Brandon Gobes, and now he's right on the tail of Rob Walker. And this is going to get a little sketchy now, because this is when guys are going to really start to push here, because they have a chance here. Ooh, and Rob Walker gets a little bit of a lock-up. Code Brown moment for Rob Walker in front of him. But William Neron, he's actually, at this point, has basically almost gapped Brandon Gobes. Brandon Gobes still within 7/10, though, but is losing time quickly.
Definitely towards the back. We have Frawley kind of taking a look on curbs, and gets very loose outside coming out of Curva. Fausto Grissini. I apologize, I'm not Italian, so I apologize if I'm butchering that pronunciation. I think we've been calling it the death curve.
Variante Alta is how you pronounce that, I think.
Oh, is it? They might have changed it. I'm looking at an updated track map. So the curve formerly known as Variante Alta.
Eric DeRace chasing down Elegance. Eric DeRace starting to really pick up the pace in this car now. Definitely would love to see him score a bit more points. He was last year's champion. He absolutely dominated that championship last year. And now Decora's had an accident. What happened?
I'm not sure. I was looking a bit further towards the back where another accident's happened. Some sort of collision between Winston Workman and I believe that was Oliver. Trying to keep tabs on that. So Golzar now in front. Now remember, Golzar's got a 3-second penalty that he picked up for illegal DRS. He's going to want to expand a gap as quick as he can. Give himself a 3-second buffer.
And of course, if you're Decora, you just want to just relax. You know he has that penalty. Also, we're only 7 laps into this race, so pit strategy definitely coming into play. And Fox, what are we looking for in our pit strategy this week?
Well, a lot of people, and including me, really prefer to do a one-stop strategy. But that with this car, with this mod, that means taking the hard tires as long as you can, and then taking the medium tires as long as you can, which can be difficult to do because when the tires get really old, the car gets a little exciting, is a good word to put it. So a handful of people are probably going to try to take things a bit easier, especially since I believe I heard the hard tires are only going to last about 15 laps or so before they're considered in the red, quote unquote. So it'll be interesting to see who is going to do 2 stops, who's going to do 1. I believe Daikora is definitely going to be committing to a 2-stop strategy here. He started the race on soft tires. Meanwhile, the rest of his fellow competitors in the top 5 all started on mediums. They have an option to do a 1-stop, but they could change their mind.
Well, the guy who's on the hard tire currently is going to be Legs, who's in 6th place right now. The man's been making moves on those tires, especially against guys on those mediums. And same with Joker. Both him and Joker on hard tires are both in the top 10 still. And I would have never expected that. I thought we were going to see in Australia where if you pick the hard tire, it definitely wasn't the smartest choice to start the race. But later in the race, it definitely had its benefits. And we're seeing these guys, they're sticking very close together as we're seeing Rob Walker, Legs, and Joker having a bit of a battle here.
Joker was ahead of these guys, but ran wide at the exit of Tamburillo a lap or 2 ago, and unfortunately fell back a handful of places. So it'll be interesting to see how many positions he can gain back.
Let's take a look at that progress bar. Let's see. The biggest winner so far is going to be Tommy Guns. He's gained 10 positions since the start of this race after starting in the back of the pack. Oliver has gained 8. And he is currently in the top 10. But I hate to say this word because it's a negative connotation, but the biggest loser, as we now see Legs making it pass before turn 1, and he gets it done with the DRS. That was absolutely fantastic stuff as we now see Joker go off track.
Oh no. Joker going off and losing 2 positions. That's Eric in P7, Elegance in P8 as they battle going into Villeneuve Corner. I wonder what that was about. I didn't quite see what happened with Joker. He wasn't battling with someone necessarily in the sense that he wasn't side by side with somebody.
Definitely probably just missed the braking point because he went straight off.
I wonder if it's the tires. I don't know if the tires are working for him, but Legs is also on the hard tires and he seems to be doing okay, so it's hard to tell.
It's very difficult to tell. Back to the progress bar, Marshcroft was so far the biggest, I would say the biggest loser in everything that, losing 8 positions and of course DNFing, so that would leave Joker and John currently have lost 6 positions since the start of this race as we are now on lap number 9, starting 10. And Gulzer currently holding out to his lead. Decora has gone into the pit lane.
So it'll be interesting to see what Daikor decides to pit onto. I presume it'll probably be the medium tire.
Looking here into the pit lane he goes. We'll keep our eyes on him to see where he goes. I bet if he wants to do the 1-stop, he'll have to try it. No, he goes soft tires again.
Soft tires, and that was a very long stop. I wonder if he repaired some damage.
I think he did. I think he had some front wing damage from his little accident earlier that we didn't catch on stream. But now that gives Gulzer a chance to really pull out his lead here, as Decora's going to have to really put in the work to keep in the battle for the lead. But William Neron, that gives him a chance now that he's up in the P2 with a 2.3 second gap, and that gap is somewhat shrinking just a little bit, but the man is quick on these medium tires.
Van's sitting in P3 so far with a 2-second gap behind him. This is a good performance by Van. See if he can keep this up.
A podium finish for Van would be, he would absolutely love that this week. He's had kind of just some races where he's stuck there in the midfield and not able to go anywhere. As we saw him, he's had some very impressive finishes, except for Jeddah, where he did not finish, and well, he claimed 0 points. Albert Park, where he was in the commentary booth, and then last week picking up 2 points and finishing in 9th place. So Brandon Gobes here is definitely on the warpath here. He wants to remain in P3, but Legs also is in the mix here. He's going to try and chase down Van. Speaking with Legs earlier, he wasn't too confident in how this race was going to go. I said, "Are you going to get a top 5?" And he wasn't even sure of that, but here he is sitting at P4.
Meanwhile, behind him, Eric DeRace and Rob Walker duking it out. Getting very close together as they approach Aqua Minerale. Side by side. And Eric Brates later gets on the grass. Oh, and runs wide. It's a bit of an unsafe rejoin, and right behind, Elegance is going to capitalize and take P6 from Rob Walker.
So Rob Walker not only losing 1 position, but loses 2 positions from the unsafe rejoin there by Eric DeRace in that BWT Racing Point car, or as known as the pink Mercedes. That's no longer on track anymore in actual F1. But now we're seeing Rob Walker. He's going to have to get that DRS wide open as they come through this final straight. And I'm surprised that we haven't seen much of this happen, as we now see Legs put up a very quick lap time there. He had a purple lap time at least pop up on my screen there. But one of the things I've noticed with this car, Fox, is when you have that DRS wide open, you make any sort of movement with that on, not smooth movement, but a quick movement, you can really spin this car.
Sure, and you kind of got that with the previous car too, the 2021 car as well. But it's definitely a lot more pronounced in this car. I think that's just part of the design of the car and the way that the aerodynamics work.
Curbs and Froley getting into a scuffle there, and Froley was not going to allow him to give up his position, and he just absolutely spins Curbs around, making Curbs fall all the way down to 13th position. And we'll definitely see a report on that one, because Curbs was running very well there in his car, and I'm not even sure what to even call that. That's an interesting livery on his car. It has the Honda logo on it, of course. But Curbs was up there in the top 10. But
oh no, Elegant spins from P6. He's dropped down to P8. Now still P8. He's had a healthy gap between P8 and P9. And he's going to dive into the pits.
Well, now that's going to... So Decora's actually moved up into the top 10 now.
And is closely hounding P9. Going to get into DRS. Might be able to overtake him here.
Looking at it, and you got to be careful. Froley has been somebody who's not going to give up that position lightly, but he gets the job done, Decora does, right before turn 1, and he's just going to go on his merry way. Those soft tires, very, very quick compared to the medium tires, especially with some of these guys coming into the later stages here on this stint.
You got to wonder how much of his tire life he's burned trying to get by some of these midfield runners, as Decora now has got a fair bit of air in front of him between himself and the car in front. So we'll see what kind of lap times he'll be able to put on these tires now.
He's about 28 seconds. No, 23, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's still not within an undercut range, but I'm guessing because of his damage damage repair, he had to do that. Brandon Gobes into the pit lane. First man on medium tires to come in. Let's see where he is going to put on. Wouldn't be surprised to see hard tires. I wouldn't be surprised to see soft tires. And he
soft
puts on
tires.
soft.
He's going to do a two-stopper. Very interesting.
I think a lot of guys are going to move to this two-stopper. They've seen Joker pull off the two-stopper, same with Slem, and have won races with that. So as now Decora puts up the fastest lap time with a 1:21.9. Now Oliver picking up a drive-through penalty for speeding into the pit lane. That was a topic of conversation where that pit line, where the pit entrance line is at. So we're talking earlier that we're probably going to see some guys pick up some penalties. Yard meet into the pits as well. Same with Froley. Froley on the medium tire.
The two-stopper does work But the thing about the two-stoppers, you gotta have to have the pace to back it up. Because you got to make up that deficit, that lost time that you're accumulating from doing that second stop. So if you're fast, then yeah, go for it. But, be aware of the risks.
Gulzer into the pit lane. William Neron also into the pit lane. These guys are actually racing down pit lane. And Legs is now your new leader of this race. And Eric DeRace has raced all the way from basically the back of the pack. And now he is up into P2, Joker into P3. But not net, just currently what they are on track. Gulzer is going to be coming out of the pit lane here very soon. That's going to give a chance for Decora to potentially make something happen here and potentially get in front of Gulzer. No, it's not going to be enough. Gulzer already back out on track and falling into turn 1, but William Neron is hot on his heels.
Well, Gulzer and Will Neron fitted the hard tires. I expect they're going to take that all the way to the end of the race. So both of them committing to the one stopper.
Well, if you're William Neron, if you're Decora right now, you're actually kind of happy about this because now these guys are within your sights again.
You got to get by him soon and pull a gap if you're Decora, because remember, Decora's doing a two-stop. You got to pit again. So let's get on it. Let's see some overtaking.
Xavier picking up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Looking at my timing screen, of course, I see the messages that I'm apparently sending into the server. Apologize about that to all the drivers. I hope they're not seeing that consistently.
Well, depends if they have the chat window open or not. Decora gets past Van. Just as I told him to get on it, he's starting to make some moves. So let's see how quickly he gets on top of Gulzar and Will.
So Decora now back in the fight for the lead. Let's take a look here and see what other battles we're having here. Of course, Joker, Legs, and Eric DeRace are all pretty much very close to each other. As Eric DeRace gets by Nick Cameron. And putting him a lap down. Nick Cameron running 15th here this evening. Looking at the back of the field here. Curbs must have had enough. He did. Gets the car straight again and gets going again on those hard tires. But Xavier very close to Oliver coming out when they came out of the pit lane, and he's going to try and work his way up through the field again. Xavier is somebody who has the pace to be in the top 5 most of the time, but just can't quite get it done in the race just because of how this race goes. But he's also on the soft tire right now, so he'll be looking at a 2-stop.
Got a better exit coming out of that final corner and makes the overtake happen before the first turn.
So he'll be happy about that. Now he's going to work his way up through the field. Now we're seeing Decora. He gets past Gulzer and William Neron. The man's on a warpath right now.
And Van gets by Gulzer too.
So Van is in the contention for a potential race win as Decora gets a little bit loose and he spins it.
Oh no, he was getting loose coming out of the corner and Van sealed the deal. He was already loose coming out.
Oh no, that is not what you like to see. Brandon Gulb's picking up some damage from that on his front wing, but he's going to continue on here because he's right on the tail of Gulzer.
You hate to see it, but I don't think there's anywhere for Van to go.
Decora just getting very loose out of not the Tamburilla chicane, but the Villeneuve chicane, and just loses it. And then all Van had to do was just be that close and just taps him. Here goes Van. He's trying to make a move on the outside. Gulzer breaks a little bit earlier than Van, but Van can't quite get the job done. But now we're seeing this 3-car battle starting to really form. Brandon Gobes has that DRS wide open as they come down the front straight. Here comes Brandon Gobes. And he gets the job done. So at this point in time, Brandon Gobes is going to be your provisional leader.
Good move by Van, but remember Van's got a pit again. So he needs to put some distance between himself and these cars behind him.
Well, William Neron, he's just been stuck behind these two. Now he has a chance to make a move happen on the Gulzar, and he's going to try and get that done. But he's on the outside here of, is it Peralta, and does not get the move done. The outside line through there, trying to make an overtake, is definitely not the line you want to take.
It's very difficult. Meanwhile, behind, Daikora has pitted a second time and has fitted the medium tires, and I presume repaired. I don't know if he hit the wall, but he might have repaired some damage.
He definitely hit the wall on that.
Daikora hopefully should be running to the end on these tires.
Joker currently in P2, but he still has to pit, but he's on the hard tire. Again, we cannot sleep on this man. This man's strategy somehow works for him every single time he races, except for maybe last week. Where last week he was only picked up 12 points, so that would have been P4.
Will Neron makes a move on Gulzar. Passes him before turn 1.
Nicely done, William Neron. He wants another race win. He wants to make it 2 in a row.
He's been putting in a lot of time and effort into this car, and the results are showing.
Of course, one of the new rules introduced here at Apollo Racing Club ACF1 and amongst some of our other leagues is that you have to have a minimum lap requirement to participate in the race each week here in ACF1. You have to put in a minimum of 25 laps. Some of these guys we've been seeing, they're putting in 50, 60, 70, 80. We even saw some guys putting in 200 plus laps. So that is always great to see these guys really working hard to get better. Brandon Gobes still out in front, and he is pulling a gap, but William Neron's going to try and chase him down. And these soft tires, they're going to start to fall off a cliff here for him, for Brandon Gobes. So he'll have to be careful on his pace because the hard tire of William Neron is actually starting to look a little bit quicker.
I think so, and I think I can't remember exactly what lap Van pitted for his soft tires. He started on the mediums, right?
Yes.
So I suspect that they'll be getting a little bit close to the end of life. He'll probably be pitting in the next 2 or 3 laps or so, is my best guess.
He's done 6 laps on those soft tires. So he'll pit. He'll probably, yeah, you're probably right. He'll pit here in the next I would say even 2 to 3 laps if he wants to make this 2-stop work. But he'll have. Did he start on softs or did he start on mediums? I think he started.
I believe he started on mediums. Yeah.
Of course, the guys behind him, William Neron, all pitted on the same lap. Gulzar pitted a lap earlier. No, he didn't. Him and William Neron were racing down the pit lane. Don't know why it's just pitted 5 laps ago. That doesn't make any sense on our timing screens. And now Joker finally goes into the pits. 21 laps on those hard tires. Same with legs. And Eric DeRace is staying out. And he has not pitted yet, and he's done 20 laps on these medium tires. So those things got to be almost worn out.
I'm sure they've passed the end of life state. But if you can make it work and keep it together, you can drive as long as you want on them, really. The Joker took medium tires an extremely long amount of time at Jeddah this season as well, so it'll be interesting to see how Eric's strategy is going to play out here in these closing stages.
Well, he's got to think it through here. Of course, you don't want to pull a Williams and Alex Albon and run all the way to the end and not have the gap necessary to hold on to position. As of right now, Eric is not in that position. He would fall probably right behind Golzar. Fall down to fourth place. But even then, that's a heck of a race for him.
Towards the back, Joker and Legs exit in P5 and P7 respectively, being split by Rob Walker. Legs with fresher tires is hopefully gonna, or probably going to try to challenge Rob Walker here in a bit. He's in that DRS range as they come around the final turn.
Taking a look through the field here, Decora, he's trying to make his way back up to the front. He's now going to try and make an overtake on Tommy Guns, and Tommy Guns has nothing for that. Decora making that overtake very easy as he now comes into the final turn, and he's just going to go. I think he's at that point where he is, you know, these are the cards I'm being dealt, but he knows he's quick. He has the fastest lap time right now, so he has that bonus point currently as he reaches into the top 10 and into the points, as we are on lap 22 of 32. So 11 laps remaining here before the checkered flag flies, and we declare a winner officially. Legs hot on the heels of Rob Walker now as they come into the death chicane, or couple different variations of names as we've been calling it, Variante Alta.
The chicane formerly known as Variante Alta.
That's a lot easier to say than the new name of it, of course. And of course, an interesting fact, this is where AlphaTauri F1 team actually does some of their test days and testing the cars. Of course, they do a lot of testing here. Same with other brands like Glickenhaus, the LMH team, also does their testing here at Imola. So
Van exiting the pit lane after his second stop. He has fitted another set of soft tires.
So he came in early, and I was kind of right on my prediction. He did 2 extra laps on those, 2 laps. I said 2 to 3. So he's just now going to push, but he's going to have much quicker pace. And who was that? A car off? That was Elegance.
That was ahead of him. Elegance getting loose out of Villeneuve, and I believe he hit the wall the way that his car was bouncing back on track.
Definitely has some front wing damage.
That's going to make Daikora catch right up. And suddenly now P8 is on the menu for Daikora. Well, behind him, Tommy Gunn spins, but gets it rolling again.
Of course, this is go time for a lot of these drivers. Daikora moves himself up in the P9.
Oh no, Daikora! There's confusion between him and a back marker, and he goes off.
And he now falls.
And he drops.
He falls to 10th. Question is, does he have damage?
I believe he did make contact with the wall. As for how bad the damage is, it remains to be seen. He does not pit. He's going to press on.
He's going to have to push it.
Sorry, go ahead.
You just got to push. That's all you got to do at this point. Push it to the end.
Just take a deep breath, collect yourself, and get back in that groove. There's still points on the board here on offer. It's not over yet. Races and championships can be won and lost in the last corner, the last lap of the last race of the season.
Or a bad safety car call.
Yeah, that too.
That too. I'm so glad we can joke about that now.
Oh, goodness.
Golds are currently in P3. Eric DeRace still out there. on those medium tires. When is this man going to come in?
That's a great question.
Yardmeet picking up 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane, and he has a crash with the environment, picking up more damage than what he previously picked up, and he falls down to P14.
Like setting his personal fastest time this race so far, but still isn't able to get past Rob Walker yet.
And he's sticking with them. Brandon Gobes, though, is looming in the background on this battle.
Ooh, you're right. This is going to be real interesting pretty soon. We're probably going to see a three-way fight for P5 as they both kind of get a poor exit, and Van's going to catch up. Looks like 5/10 he caught up.
That's absolutely massive. He is... You got to wonder what he's thinking right now. What's going through his head?
That gap's dropping more. That's another 4/10.
Man is pushing.
And the thing is, too, the more that you battle with someone, the more time you actually lose, especially if you're frequently trying to go too wide into certain corners. You burn up a lot of time doing that, and it benefits the people behind you, like we're about to see here with Van. Van now in DRS range.
This DRS can be very powerful coming down the front straight. Legs is also trying to keep up. Brandon Gobes with the fastest lap time, a 1:21.3. So
very impressive from him.
Very impressive. He is the quickest man on track currently. And the more he gets into this groove here and into this battle, if he passes these two guys, it's not out of the question. There goes Legs off the track.
Oh no, just gets in the grass and goes wide, vaults it over that curb.
That's the one thing about this track. You really can't hit these curbs at a high speed or they're just going to send you off and punish you. But Brandon Gobes, he's right on the tail of Rob Walker now.
Be interesting to see where Van decides to make the move. I'm sure he's got a lot more pace compared to Rob. But there aren't very many overtaking opportunities here at Imola.
He has to make it count. He has to either get it on the front straight with DRS or right before turn 1. Because that's really it. That's really the overtaking opportunities. I mean, we've seen some guys do it on the back end of the track. But that's also going too wide. Brandon Gobes right on the tail here. He's going to get that DRS. Can he get the job done here as we ride on board with the man? He has that DRS wide open. He's getting closer and closer. Rob Walker takes the inside. Brandon Gobes on the outside, and he gets the move done. And Brandon Gobes up into P5.
P5, and we'll have to see if he can make up that time deficit between himself and the Joker. That's a 21-second gap. Anything can happen, but that's quite the gap. Eric DeRace still at the head of the pack, but he is losing time. The gap between him and Will Neron behind is dropping a lot. So you can't help but wonder, are these tires really worth it? He's still setting times in the 124s, but compare that with the times that Will Neron has been setting in the 122s. 122.3 is Will Neron's last lap time, as the Joker sets a 21.399.
Not as quick as Van's. Van still has the fastest lap time.
It was close, though.
It was very close.
Few hundredths of a second.
But William Neron just closing this gap, and he is looking right now, 5 laps to go, at his not only his third race. This would be his third race win here at Apollo Racing Club, but his second race win this season, making it a back-to-back race winner. Looking at the standings as they currently sit before this race is tallied, he's currently in 4th position. A win here puts him over Slem, who's not here anymore, and puts him in the third position. So he is he'll be in the championship fight with a race win here tonight.
And that just goes to show how valuable that race win is in terms of points. You get so much more points for a race win compared to the other positions.
His race win would put him at 87 points. So he'll be 5 points behind you, Fox. So that will make, not next week, because next week is break week.
Nope. Next week we're racing at a track called Pinwheel.
Pinwheel.
Yep, it is a custom track made by someone in the Assetto Corsa community.
That'll be an interesting track, to say the least.
It'll be fun. There's some elements that are very roller coaster like, so it'll be very exciting to drive and to watch, hopefully.
Eric DeRay still out there. He is pulling the Williams. Lap 29 of 32. We're on 4 laps to go here. Joker is reeled in Golzar. Decor has made his way up into P8 now, and he's 11 seconds behind Rob Walker, so his time is slowly running out to gain any more positions. At this point, he's having a hope and a prayer that Rob Walker or Legs has a mistake in front of him.
Joker hot on the heels of Golzar.
Has a little bit of a lockup through there in turn 1, but keeps it going, keeps the car straight as they now come into the Villeneuve chicane. But 3 laps remaining. We've had quite a good race here at Imola. Did not expect this amount of overtakes here. And of course, we haven't had to rely on you tonight, Fox, which is always good. Not to have that safety car out there and disrupting the race pace. And it seemed like everybody just had a good time so far.
Been some close calls, and but mostly just single car incidents. Nothing that would warrant a safety car yet. Actually, no. At this point, no. There won't be a safety car. It's too late in the race.
Back markers getting out of this way for this battle for the final podium position. And this is actually a battle for P2. Because you have to remember, Eric DeRace is not pit. Oh, and Rob Walker has gone off. He had a collision with Nick Cameron. And now he has some damage, and that brings Decora now within a second. So Decora definitely looking like he is wanting to gain more positions now, and Joker finally gets past Golzar in the process of that. Shorty now getting past Froley. Eric DeRace now on 2 laps remaining. Is he just going to wait until the last second to pit?
He might, which is really funny because, one, it's the medium tires that he's taking, basically all the way to the end. The tires are beyond dead according to most Assetto Corsa apps that you may or may not use, and yet he's still on them and he's still putting in pretty alright lap times.
Tommy Gunn's having a spin at the chicane previous known as Verente Alta. But Shorty and Gunn still having a battle. Shorty moves up into the points now, though, because of that spin out by Tommy Guns. Tommy Guns falls down to 11th.
The Joker goes wide.
Oh, no. Eric DeRace is on the final lap.
On the final lap and hasn't pitted.
Oh.
Eric.
Hello?
Eric, what have you done? You can't... Okay. He's kind of doomed himself here because he's going to finish the race on the same set of tires. And that's not okay. That's actually I'll have to double check, but I believe that's a disqualification. And we're probably not going to be okay with him pulling a Michael Schumacher, and that is if he tries to pull into the pits, as he's coming in for the final lap.
Yeah, FIA is going to have their hands full on this one, as now William Neron. I am going to go on the basis that William Neron will be the race winner here because of Eric DeRace. Depending on what the rules say, I'm not the rule expert. Fox, you know the rules better than I do. But Eric DeRace now rounding the final corner, and he's going into the pit lane.
He's pulling a Michael Schumacher.
But Eric DeRace has now pulled into the pits, and William Neron takes his second race victory here at Apollo Racing Club. Gulzar falls into P2. Can Eric DeRace finish this race? Yeah, he crosses. He has not crossed the finish line.
He has crossed it now. According to the timing screen, he's crossed the finish line.
Joker in fourth. Brandon Gulbs is going to be coming across the line here in fifth place and the fastest lap point. So he'll gain an extra point from that. Legs now coming across the line as well in P6. A good night from him. Decora has had an act of God happen. He had Elegance crash, he had Walker crash, and he pulls up into P7. So a great recovery drive there from Decora. Rob Walker comes in P8 after starting up towards the front end of the field. Elegance will finish out the night for him in P9. But a race ending in controversy. Eric DeRace takes his medium tires 31 laps basically before pitting. Elegance now finishes the race, and he takes out Joker with him, as we're now seeing some F1 cars now fly into the atmosphere.
A common celebration after races here in Apollo Racing Club. Of course, it's all good fun, usually. Short
finished out the night in P10. He gains a point. I think that's his first point of the season. It is. So
I believe he'll get 2 after some post-race penalties are applied.
Tommy Guns finishing the night in 11th, Froley in 12th, Curbs in 13th, Cameron in 14th, Oliver in 15th, John in 16th, Xavier in 17th, Winston Workman in 18th, Yardmeet in 19th, and Doetry in 20th, and of course our one DNF of Marshcroft. So William Neron takes a second race victory here at Apollo Racing Club, and I could not be more happy to say that that man drove his heart out tonight. Well, folks, that will do it for us here this evening. Fox, any final thoughts?
Stay safe out there, folks, and we'll see you next week.
You heard it here. Stay safe. Next week, we're at Pinwheel, a custom-made track here on the AC community, so very excited to join us then. Tune in tomorrow night. We'll have some IndyCar action here on Apollo Racing Club. It's going to be an interesting race as IndyCar heads to Spa-Francorchamps, so you don't want to miss out on that. That's going to be an amazing race. Of course, Keegan will be here giving the broadcast for that. And then Saturday night, we'll have our ACF1 GT3 action. And I don't even know where they're headed to, but Matt Moose McAdams will be here for that as well. So hit that follow button on Twitch, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, and stick with us throughout the racing season as we head into basically our springtime season. So thank you so much for watching. I'm EV500, and for everybody here at Apollo Racing Club, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you all next week.